Hello everyone, my name is Anna and welcome. Today I'm going to be making fry bread. However, this is not my recipe. This is Gigi Marge's recipe, and let's go through that. So you'll need 1.5 tablespoons of active dry yeast, and please use the traditional, not the quick rise. Then there is 2.5 cups of warm water, 2 tablespoons of lard or shortening, and today I'm using shortening. Also 3 tablespoons of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 egg, and 6 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, this is Gigi Marge's recipe. I had just mentioned that. However, Gigi means grandmother in Nishka. However, this is not my grandmother's recipe. This is my coworker's grandma's recipe. So in my coworker's, whose name is Mercedes, she had also uploaded this recipe. Now, I have also always been somewhat reluctant to bake or do anything that requires yeast as an ingredient. I have always wondered, I've been feeling somewhat apprehensive because I was thinking maybe it won't turn out. So I'm trying to break away from that. So this was a wonderful opportunity for me to try this. So if you have never made this before, fried bread, join me. Let's do this together and let's break free from any apprehension. Okay, also too, some of there are other videos that have been posted, or if you want to watch Mercedes' video, it is also uploaded on Instagram at native_early years. Also on Facebook, which is NCFST-Aboriginal Early Childhood Development Unit, and also on YouTube page, Native Child and Family Services of Toronto. You will see her recipe there and also other wonderful things that we have posted. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to show you the ingredients here. I've prepared them in order to make this go a little bit more smoothly. So we have our flour here, our egg, our salt, our sugar, our yeast. I've already added the shortening into the pot, and I have warm water here ready to get that started. So first thing that we must do is put our yeast. So once again, this is 1.5 tablespoons of active dry yeast, and it's the traditional. So here we go. We're going to put that in nicely, and we're going to let that stand. We're going to put that aside for a little while, and this is going to get activated, and this is the ingredient that makes any bread rise. So we're going to put that aside. And now we're going to be working on melting the shortening, adding our salt and our sugar, and then we're going to add in the beaten egg. Okay? Beaten egg. So let's get that started. We're going to turn this on to just a little bit more than low, in between low and medium. And the reason is we want to melt it, but not really heat it through. And I'll tell you in a moment why. So while that is heating up, we want to get a bowl and whisk our egg. Because when we add the egg, we don't want it to cook. Okay, so here's our 1 egg. And we're going to beat this. So I've made this recipe one other time, and it ended up turning out very nicely, but my consistency and I didn't think I had the right ratio of liquid for the flour. So let's hope that this time it comes out a little bit nicer than the last time. So now we're going to make sure we're just melting, melt this away a little bit, and then I'll bring it back down. So in here, we have our 2 tablespoons of shortening. So it's melting really nicely. Very, very nice. And I'm going to add our sugar and the salt to that. So we're going to stir that all around. Now Mercedes says we just want this melted. Okay. So we want to get it to the right. This is looking good, guys. I'm really hopeful for this time to be as closest to the recipe as possible. So that's wonderful. I'm going to turn this down as I want to add mine. I wish I could show you here what I have here. So this is what it looks like right now. And now I'm going to add the egg. So let's go ahead and do that now. The idea is not to cook this at all. Oh, this is lovely. Bring the camera down so you can see now what it looks like. So the egg, as you can see, it's not cooked. Very nice. Our yeast is still trying to activate, so I'm just going to give it a few more minutes, and I'll get back to you in a moment. Okay, so some time has passed, and we've allowed our yeast to be activated, and this is what it looks like right now. So it's nice and thick. You want to be able to stir that gently. Okay, and then put the camera down so we can see what is happening here. So now I am going to be adding the yeast to our sugar and shortening and egg mixture. Stirring this. So it's all mixed together beautifully. Mix it all through very nicely. Try to get all the yeast here. Making sure that we get all of our ingredients. Okay, excellent. So as you can see here, I have 2 bowls of flour. One here and one here. I have 3 in this bowl, and I've already made a little well here. And I am going to be pouring, alternating between the wet and then adding more of the dry. So the idea is to get the right consistency. My hands are washed, but I'm going to be starting with the spoon first, and then later on I'm going to be working the dough. So let me get started with this. Let's pour some of it. And we're going to stir that. Stirring it in nicely. And Mercedes says it's going to look like a swamp. That's okay. Okay. So, a little bit more. Now, I hope I am saying this correctly, but so this is for 6 cups. However, it may be slightly less than 6 cups of flour, and or maybe slightly a little bit more. The idea is to get the right consistency. That is the main point. So we are done with our wet ingredients for now. I'm just going to make sure and wash my hands, make sure that my hands are 100% clean. And this, for me, is the trickiest part of the recipe, which is to get the right consistency. So let's hope I do this right. Okay, so I'm going to have a little bit more, and my hands are going. Good. And since I've always been apprehensive about using yeast, now that I've watched a video and I feel supported, and even if this recipe doesn't turn out, hey, it's always about trying and trying until we get it right, right? So I think that's coming together. Oh, yes. I want to get some hands. So I can work with it better. But I guess this is an art. And I never learned this art, but it's never too late, right? Okay. So see, it's still very sticky. So let's on adding more flour until we get the right consistency. I think it's coming. We're getting closer to our desired feel. This moment, I wish I had Mercedes with me to give me guidance. But here we go. We're gonna keep on adding more flour because I think it's still a little bit more. Oh, it's coming together now. Yes. This is how Mercedes describes the dough to be like. And so I know this is probably not the best view. You can't just also see my face, but you can't see my face, but this is the most important part here. Okay. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. I think it really is coming along. And as you can see, this hand is not getting too doughy. I think this is exactly where we want it to go. Okay. And this can also be baked, but today I am going to be frying all of this bread. As you can see, it's coming along really nicely. It's really nice. I'm very happy. My last batch of this did not turn out as nice as this, the consistency. Okay, so here we are. This is how, as you can see, it's not, to the touch is not wet. It's nice and doughy. Look how beautiful that looks. Oh, and it smells lovely. I'm very excited, and so far I'm very proud. Okay, I'm going to cover this, let this rise, double its size for, do this. I'm gonna let it rise and covered for 2 hours. Then I'm gonna beat it down, and you'll join me for that process. And then it'll rise again. So I have to let it rise, and then we're gonna beat it down again. Then we're gonna start frying and I'll walk you through the frying process. Okay, so see you in a couple hours. Okay, hello everyone. So we are back, and it's been about 2 hours now. So let me show you what the dough looks like. The dough has risen about twice its size already. And so now I'm going to beat it down and then let it rise again. So let's see. Oh, yes. Look at that. All that air coming out. Oh boy, looking very nice. And I made sure that my hands were clean before I got started. This dough looks so much better than my original dough, so I'm super excited for this recipe, this batch to come out nicely. Now, Mercedes had in her video lets us know that this recipe is for half of the batch. You are more than welcome to double it in order to make it, of course, for more people. But we won't be needing, in my home, we won't be needing any more than this. So I will get back to you in about 2 hours or when it's doubled its size, and then we'll be ready to fry it. Okay, see you in a little while. Okay, everyone, so we have our dough that has risen twice already. So I'm gonna beat that down. And oh, look at that. Very nice. And obviously with nice clean hands. Oh, this is lovely. Now I'm going to add a little bit more flour so it doesn't stick to my hands. And I already have my oil heating up already. And the idea is to have it ready for me to start frying. Look at it. Look at this. This is looking lovely. Just a little bit more. More. Making sure that it's in my hands so it doesn't stick to my hands. Oh, I really have high hopes here, guys. I really do. Okay, so let's see. So Mercedes have made these into a nice little section, and then made sure that in the center there was a nice little hole in order for it to cook thoroughly. And what I really liked is she hung it over so nicely like this, so it doesn't stick once to your like to the surface that you put it on. So I really like that. Okay, so here we go. I'm so excited. So, I must say I find doing this quite relaxing. And I was able to do some chores while I was waiting for the dough to rise those 2 times. So, yes, it is time consuming, but if you plan it properly, you could do some of your chores too. So, let's see how this is going. So, a little bit more flour. Make sure that it's not sticking to my hands. And I'm working it like this. Placing it down. Honestly, this is going to be a big batch for my family. So most likely I'll be freezing this, some of it. Like that I can have it for the next, whenever I want to have that again. Okay, so Mercedes had mentioned how she bakes it. but I will not be baking any of this. This is a big treat for me to have it fried. So I'm so excited, guys. Okay, I will get back to you very soon. I'm just gonna put these all into these little sections, ready to fry, and then I'll turn on the camera again. Okay, everyone, so we're back, and now we are ready to do the frying. So we added to our pan some vegetable oil, and I've added a little piece of dough just to make sure that it's bubbling nicely. We want to make sure that it's heated enough, heated to the right temperature. So over here, as you can see, I have, let's see how many I have. I have put them all aside. They're ready for frying. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16 in total, 16. And I have here a tray with some paper towel in order to get the excess oil. Okay, wonderful. So I don't need this anymore since I don't think it's hot enough. So here we go with our first one. So here we go. And we've added the oil to the pan, just about covering halfway the bread, the fried bread, because we're going to cook one side and then the other side. And we can do more than just one. Very nice. I'm going to try this little piece. That is lovely. Oh, I'm so excited. Delicious flavor. So this is going to take a little while. I'm thinking maybe we can add one more. Open. They're already puffing up. And I picture having this with a hot bowl of soup. So wonderful. I can see just by looking at it, it is turning slightly brown. This side, and I'm just going to take a peek. Oh boy. Oh yes. This one maybe I can cook a little bit too much. But it's a nice color nonetheless, too. I'm so very excited. Well, I have to say this recipe, the whole thing from beginning to end, it does take a while to do because you have to wait for the dough to rise and then wait for it to rise again. So for that reason, yes, it does take a long time. But at the beginning, putting them all together, that didn't take a lot of time. And this doesn't look like it's going to take a lot of time now. So I see this one's ready. I'm going to put them standing up like this, so it's able to drip down. I can't wait till that one cools down a little bit so I can try and see where it's going. I almost want to add another one, but I don't want to bring the temperature down of the oil and change the cooking time for these ones. Yes, that's gorgeous. Okay. So I'm gonna cut one. These are big, so maybe just two. Okay. I'm gonna bring down the oil. So I'm going to get a plate and try it, and let's see how it goes. How it is. Try the first one I made. I don't know if all of you guys can see, but look, it's cooked evenly inside. Let me try it. Guys, this is wonderful. I gotta turn this. Oh, come on. This is happening, guys. It is looking great. I really like how this batch turned out. Well, that's it for today. So please do not forget to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We have other videos that are uploaded in there. And I hope you try this recipe and let us know how it goes. Take care, everyone. Bye.